Well, the year is rushing past us and the flowers are coming out, the colour is coming into the garden, but there's still lots of things I've got to catch up on where I got behind after my little accident. So today I'm going to be going out into the front garden and building the border to screen the bins off, and I'll show you what I'm doing on that. We're going to have a little tour around the garden and have a look at some of the colour, and we're going to be doing some tidying and some planting as well. I've got a dead shrub in the front garden which is going to come out, and the beautiful mock orange Philadelphus that I started growing in the pot a couple of shows back, that's going to be planted out in its place. So lots of things to do today. So let's crack on with June in a year gardening. Now I'm preparing some wood to use on the new front border by the bin area. Now I've already put a gravel board at the front, dividing the front road from the garden to stop any soil going through onto the front path. I'm now going to cut another gravel board to make the inside edge of the border. Do that, take it out, fit it, and then we're going to show you what I'm doing there. So I've measured up the gravel board, I've got my line on here, I've got a spacer in between, and I'm just going to quickly cut through here. I've got my mark there, that looks good. So one quick cut, board's now ready to go. Well, the timber that I cut is now here. I'm just putting down some supports behind into the soil, then I'm going to screw these into place, put some retaining hardcore down behind, and then start building the ground up, ready to plant some more plants in here. I'm going to leave the wild garlic and the hollyhocks that are growing and just add to those so that we get a rather nice hedge along the front. So we're just going to pop this one down in the ground. Just a couple of inches below the surface so I can fix firmly to that. That's going to be fine. Let's crack on with that. Well, now I've levelled the board up, filled in behind it, and that's ready for planting shortly. I'm taking all this old tarmac. When we replaced the front path with a concrete smooth path, the old tarmac that we took out, I've kept round the back. I'm now breaking this up to form a base here. Then I'm going to get a dry mix of sand, sharp sand, and cement, and lay that over the top, water it in just to give it a bit of a smooth surface. It doesn't need to be heavy duty because it's only going to have the bins standing on there. So lots still to do on here, but I'm really pleased with the way it's going. We'll get some plants out here later on and we'll put those in as well. Well, I've just laid a rough sand and cement binding over the top there, and then I've got some more sand and cement coming so we can do a nice smooth finish and finish that off. So we've got a nice little ramp down the front here, and the bins will go up onto this area here. Once this is all set and gone off, then I'm going to put the plants in at the top. So all in all, not a bad day's work today. Well, I've just popped in a few shrubs over the back here and up the side, and they will grow to around about 2 meters, so they're going to give a nice screening here. And now I'm just popping in a few of my wild geraniums that I've moved out of the back garden, and they're going to pop into the front here, and we're just going to have those along the front, and they will give a nice little border on here, and along with all of the wild garlic the hollyhocks and everything else. I've got some poppies and things that are coming through wild here, and they're going to grow rather nicely and fill this area out with some natural native plants. So we'll just get another one of these put in the front, and this is going to give us a nice little edge. And of course, as you know, these spread like billios, so they'll be growing all the way along the garden. We'll get that in the front here, bring some soil all around that. Lovely jubbly. I might get another couple out of the back garden and put in there, but we'll just put some water on these to make sure that they're going to be okay, because they've been out of the ground for a few hours and they do need a good drink. Oh, I didn't spot that. There's another one down there, so we'll just pop that in as well. Oh, let's just make ourselves a little bit of a hole here. That'll be big enough. And let's pop this little fella just inside there. Given a few days, these will really pick up. I'm just waiting now for the sand and cement to arrive so I can finish off this area. But what I will do is I'll get the broom, give this a sweep off, and prepare everything for when the sand and cement turns up, and I can put a nice finish on here, and that'll be an area ready to put the bins on. And I'm sure this is going to end up looking rather nice, little wildish sort of border, but just to protect the bins from view. Going to be lovely. As the saying goes, near Casterclout till May is out. Well, May is out, it's now June, so I'm going to dive into this rather dead and decaying plant here, and I'm going to cut it back, and hopefully we're going to find some life inside. So I'm going to take about half of this off. We're going to go right inside here. It's a fairly soft plant on these cordyline, and we just go through with the saw, and it is difficult, but we will get through here. Oh, need some energy sometimes. Nearly there. Well, it's about halfway through. It's rather difficult because of all the leaves. Here we are. Because basically what you're cutting through are years of these leaves that have grown. So we're going to get through here. Nearly there. So I'll just put this blade away, pop that over there, and this will come off now. Right. We'll take off all these dead leaves around here, and hopefully the air and life will come back into this. If it doesn't, we'll take it out and we'll plant another. It's such a shame, but we'll see how it goes. Well, that's taken all the dead out now, and got to compost this lot, and hopefully we'll get some new life off of the plant in the future. Well, I've been doing a little bit of tidying up down by the stream, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try a new method of planting some wildflower seeds here. And so I'm just going to grab the sheet and show you. So this is a sheet of paper impregnated with wildflower seeds, and it has around about 1,000 seeds inside here. So what I want to do is just lay this down. Now, I've already watered the soil here, but what I want to do is to put this down and then trim the edge so it's going to fit inside the border. And then I'm just going to cut across here for now, and that is going to sit inside here. What I'm going to do when I've finished here is I'm going to cover this with compost. And so I'm just going to cut this through here, put that on here, and I'm going to get at least a good layer over the whole of the surface, maybe 2. Let's see how far this goes. Oh, it's beautiful. So we're going to get that right the way down to the end here. Get that down in here. Then I'm going to trim the edge off again. Just trimming it just inside the grass edge, and we'll cut that through there. We got that there. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm going to just water that and then put some more of this over the top. So we're just going to give it a gentle water. And then put some more down. So we're going to get an extra layer really out of this. I can fold that up and fold this back as well, and fold this edge up, and then water that. Now we need to get some compost and cover that in. Now the reason I've watered this now is to put that in contact with the soil below. Now we're just going to take some compost, put over the top, get it all nice. And we've got to run this all the way down the border so that we make a good growing medium for those seeds. It's going to be a stunning display of wildflowers, I'm sure. And I'm going to repeat this right the way up the stream as I clear the whole thing away. Well, now we've got the compost laid all over those seeds. Final job just to water this down and we'll keep this well watered for the next 10 to 14 days to encourage germination. But the soil is lovely and warm at the moment, so we should get some lovely wildflowers growing along the side of the stream. I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like. Well, there's the hard standing, nicely finished, little slope on the front. Bit of tidying up to do, but the whole thing is going to be nicely screened and you won't see the bins from the street, which is the general idea. I've got to tidy up this area here because when we had the bins just standing anywhere, they were sitting on top of the grass. The grass has turned to mud, so I need to get in with the fork, salt out the surface of the ground, maybe add some growing medium to that, and then seed it with some grass seed. So that's a job I've got to do here. But all in all, I'm very, very pleased with this little area. So now I want to take you down to the greenhouse and show you how my tomatoes and cucumbers and various other bits are getting on. Well, this is probably the hottest place in the whole of Kent at the moment, but I thought I'd just share with you how my tomatoes, I've repotted these ones, potted them on from the little seedlings, and I've got some more seedlings over the back here. So I've got about a dozen or so plants here. My cucumbers are ready to be split and go into their final growing positions in the summer house, not in the summer house, sorry, but in the polytunnel. And we've got some peas here, but the peas that I've got growing in the pot here are absolutely massive. Then we have got some broccoli growing in here, and these will be very, very soon ready to thin out as well. Now, something else I've decided to do, where I put in the new arch, is I was looking for somewhere to grow my beans, and I thought I'll grow them over the arch from the other side with the rows. I'll just show you that now. So what I've done is I've put just a couple of bean plants in here, which I'm going to train up this side here for my runner beans. These are Scarlet Emperor, which are going to give us some lovely beans this year. And this, by the way, is a little bit of honeysuckle which had layered itself in the garden, so I'm growing that into a pot, and then I'll put that out somewhere else to grow on once it's actually taken root. So all in all, pretty good. This area I've started to tidy back now because this is where the pond extension is coming through, and I've been trimming down some very, very big grass. The wildlife have been loving it, but obviously it needs sorting out now for the summer. So generally, all good. Oh, I was going to show you the work I'm doing on the polytunnel. Let's do that now. Okay, so I've started to erect the supports for the polytunnel. Basically, I'm connecting a piece of 2x2 timber to the metal frame. That's being put into the ground with sand and cement. The inside here is then going to be attached to the wood so that that forms a nice seal. This is going to be cut off. Another one of these is going up on the other side. Then I'm putting a board across the top, which will be fixed to the polytunnel and to the sides, and that's going to give me the framework to put the doors on, and this will form part of the doors. So we're getting there. It's slow, but we are getting there. Well, I think that's probably about it for today. So let me just pop up the top, open a bottle of wine, and we'll have a little summary chat about how things are going, and also some plans for the shows over the next couple of months. Well, this is probably my favourite place in the garden, sitting in amongst the plants, and the view I have of the flowers is absolutely superb. In fact, I ought to let you see that view now. So sitting here, I've got the beautiful towering spires of the lupins and the bright red of the geums, and as we just come round, I don't know how this is going to actually look on film because I haven't set a focus or anything, but the woodland area beside me is just full of joy and happiness. So anyway, for today, let's sum up the show. So as you really must appreciate, this is a beautiful, beautiful place to sit, and when the sun is on you and you have all of these wonderful shades of green populated by spires of colour, it is just fantastic, and I really, really do enjoy just being here. But today we've covered a fair bit of ground. I've got that bin area sorted at long last. I've made a start on the repairs to the polytunnel. I haven't got round to doing the replacement of the shrub in the front garden, and hopefully I'm going to do that over the next couple of weeks. But generally the garden is beginning to give me that summery feel, and that is so absolutely blindingly wonderful. The colours clearing out some of the weeds which have come through, and I've been able to catch up a lot on those areas, and I'm really just looking forward to tasting the fruit, eating the veg. It's all going to be coming very, very soon, and come on, just bring it on. Bring on summer. Let's have some great fun in the garden. Now, a couple of things. So firstly, my arthritis is getting really, really bad now, so I've had to invest in some new tools for the garden. So my big old petrol cutter has had to go, and I've replaced it with a G-Tech electrical cutter, which I can handle, and it is light enough. It's about a third of the weight, so that's pretty good. But one of the other main issues I've had is because I don't have the grip that I used to have. Opening one of these little beasties here has become a real pain. So I bought myself a little tool, and whilst I'm setting this tool up, I will explain to you something about the shows going forward. Now, those of you that have been with me for 3 years or so, when I first started, shows were about 10-12 minutes long and came out every week. And then as we developed and grew, I put it to a monthly show of around about 30 to 35 minutes. So what I'm going to be doing over the next couple of months is I'm going to be reverting to those 10-minute shows and putting them out every week. But on the 4th week, at the end of each month, I'll be compiling those together and putting out a monthly show. So we will be using some of the content that we have filmed and used on the 10-minute shows to put the show together at the end. So it'll give us more contact, and we'll be in touch on a more regular basis. Now, at the bottom of this little gadget here, there's a wonderful little tool, and I just bring that onto the top of the bottle, and if I can squeeze it around tight enough, I've got to work out exactly how to do this, but it just is meant to squeeze around. I did it the other day, but I can't remember how I did this. Oh yes, it was that way, wasn't it? And then you just cut it around. You have to squeeze it in, and I was forgetting to squeeze. And what it does is it takes the foil off of the top of your bottle. Then the next thing is you have this wonderful gadget that you can stick on top of the bottle, and you just press on the side, and very kindly the electricity supplied by batteries brings your cork out. Then you just reverse it and the cork comes out for you. How wonderful is that? And I don't have to use my wrist. So oh, that smells lovely. Now what we have today is a rather splendid Bordeaux, the Grand Goya Bordeaux, and it's chateau bottled, which I'm hoping is going to be a rather nice job of stuff. As I'm sure you're aware, I like the occasional glass of wine, and it does me good. So sitting here in my garden, looking at God's glory, the hollyhocks, the lupins, the geums, the roses, and look, the fennel is growing really lovely. I've got apples and pears growing. The birds are, it's just like being in heaven. I cannot explain the joy that this puts inside me. And I like to be able to share it with you guys. Thank you very, very much for joining me. I'll just leave you with a few words to stay safe, look after yourself, be kind to each other, happy gardening, and cheers.